Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. Today, in the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have got none other than Stephano in the bottom left-hand side of the map. And in the top right-hand side of the map, we have got Lillekanin. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm pretty sure I am. 99% sure, playing for E-Punks, and I thought I'd cast this because it's going to be a bit of a unique match, I feel. Partially because it's fun to see how Stephano's playing. He seems to be incredibly talented when it comes to picking up and putting down Starcraft 2 at a whim, it seems, and then still playing at a premier level, essentially. And his opponent, Lillekanin, is a Terran player who's got a very unique style. He's known to be one of the more meching Terrans in the European scene. He hasn't necessarily ever had like a super big result or anything like that. However, his style is pretty unique. He's fun to watch, and that's why I thought it would be a fun match to check out between Lillekanin and Stephano today anyway. And another reason for that is that Stephano likes to play really odd styles, and sometimes he really enjoys the late game. And so I thought, you know what? Lillekanin, Stephano, taking each other on in the late game, it's gotta be just, yeah, like, it'll probably go into the late game. Like, maybe we'll see some battle cruisers, things like that. Who knows? Stephano with 30,000 queens. I really don't have an idea of how it's gonna go. SCV gonna be moving across the map for Lillekanin. Just scouting out, making sure there's no cheeky early pool from Stephano. All the while, if we pull up that production tab, we see that everything is more or less normal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this video, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button for me casting players who aren't necessarily the most well-known. Stephano's got a big reputation, but Lillekanin, on the other hand, it's good to be shining the spotlight on him a little bit and seeing how he's gonna play. I have cast him in the past. I think the last time I cast him it would have been around WESG, I want to guess. And so I have seen some of his games, but it's definitely been a hot minute since I've seen some of his games. Now the Reaper for Lillekanin gonna run on in, start microing against those Lings. However, as Stephano's queen is about to pop out, there's no sweat for Stephano. Alright, Barracks and Factory are gonna lift off and swap places. Starport on the way for Lillekanin, but interestingly enough, the Starport is actually going to be getting proxied, which is quite unusual from the Terran player. Lillekanin just wanting to proxy a Starport. What's he going to make out of it? I'm not sure, by the way. And oh my gosh, look at this Ursidon. That is a big old Ursidon right there. Now, there is indeed a metabolic boost on the way for Stephano. He's still mining just that little bit of gas, but getting queen production, third hatchery on the way. Usual Zerg macro, all the while Lillekanin, he's starting to rally out Hellions, and hasn't necessarily shown us anything too definitive yet. But interestingly enough, the Starport is going to be getting proxied in order to build a Medivac. This is going to be to elevate Hellions into Stephano's base in order to allow Lillekanin to try and catch Stephano off defense, and then be able to get some good drone kills with some very quick Hellions. Now, a Marine's on the way for Lillekanin to help try and scare Stephano. This is Overlord away, but unfortunately for Lillekanin, it looks like Stephano's Overlord is on path to actually see the fusion core. It's gonna be real close. Looks like it's actually a no, which is quite a big deal. I expected Stephano to scout that, but he's not going to. He adjusts the Overlord slightly. Looks like it's gonna be a no. Yeah, so the battle cruiser follow-up, I presume, is gonna be what's coming out of Lillekanin. Something pretty crazy, proxying the Starport for the BCs, all the while the Hellions are moving around in the Medivac, but so far haven't been able to actually spot, or haven't been able to get any damage done because Stephano has spotted them. And so the cool proxy from Lillekanin, not getting a lot done. The Hellion's gonna kill off Creep Tumor or two. Not a lot of damage done though, and the Zerg player is throwing up spores. He's making more queens. Stephano does have that third base done too, so he should be rather comfortable in this situation. Lillekanin does get another Creep Tumor, which I will say is quite nice on his behalf, able to continuously get those creep tumors will delay the creep, which is something Stephano is quite good at. So hampering that is a thumbs up. The SCV for Lillekanin, I'm not sure why this is still hanging out here. It's just chilling with his Ursidon bro. I'm like, hey, what's up, guy? I kind of got some spikes on me too, and they're just hanging out, you know. Okay, so that battle cruiser's on the way. Third base is on the way for Lillekanin. After all, this is looking like a pretty standard build. However, there is an addition of an armory into the arsenal for Lillekanin, and this is going to effectively make it so that he'll be able to make Hellbats. And Hellbats are, of course, a very strong unit. I have a love-hate relationship with Hellbats, namely due to a lot of players will basically be like, oh, Hellbats, and the second they'll get Hellions into like a mineral line, they'll be like, it's Hellbat time, when in reality, if the Hellions chase down the drones, which are just going to run away, you're likely to get more damage done, in my opinion. So I'm more of an advocate for the Hellbats if you can see a good trade against the army, but otherwise, I say go ahead and run those Hellions into the mineral line. So we'll see what Lillekanin does. Oh, he's going to make them Hellbats, but there's literally nothing here. The Hellbats are going to waddle in, and Stephano's going to run the drones away. Like, this, I don't understand this. This is something that so many pro gamers do, and I think it's like a total flaw, because the Hellions are quick. If Stephano does have a response to them, you can always get them back into the Medivac. And so 11 drones have actually died because Stephano didn't run all of his gas ones, and he's actually running some back maybe a little bit too early. So a mistake from Stephano is actually making these Hellbats get drones, but by all rights, Stephano shouldn't have lost really many workers to those Hellions, and instead he actually lost 17 drones to that attack. Now, the battle cruiser's still alive, 17 drones died, is quite a bit of damage. But, yeah, that is interesting, and more drones are actually dying. Oh my gosh, this BC is still going around, just barely stays alive against those queens, so nice job from Lillekanin. How many kills did the BC get? Looks like it got 11, so a good portion of the kills. All the while, Stephano has got up his 1-1 upgrade, so he's going to be able to make Roaches and Hydras. He's now going to be heading towards his 2-2. Potentially, if he does start up that missile attack. So he will have very good upgrades compared to Lillekanin, who is just getting up his extra armory now. Also does have up his third base too, which is pretty significant, seeing as how Stephano isn't punishing that at all, when there's really not a lot to defend it at the minute. I guess Stephano just pretty occupied dealing with these Hellions, dealing with these battle cruisers that are flying around. This BC could be in a bit of trouble with all these queens around. Did it teleport in? No, it didn't. So it does have the teleport out and should be fine. Looks like while this is going on, Lillekanin is just getting up the extra infestation pit. Or I mean, getting up the factories while Stephano is getting up an infestation pit. The BC is still just moving around trying to take down a queen, but the queens get transfused from the low ground to the high ground. And the battle cruiser is just killing off a few more drones. Quite a bit of damage getting done. So this is actually quite a nice attack from Lillekanin. However, Stephano's got Lings going for a counterattack, but the BC, the Hellbats, will deal with that. This battle cruiser teleports out, so it stays alive. A really nice job. While this is going on, we see Stephano is getting up that lurker den. He's making his Hydras and Roaches, and he still has got up to 80 drones. So this does go to show how harassment can be strong. However, I'd say the harassment of Lillekanin, while it's been very effective, it hasn't been enough to completely slow down Stephano's economy. He's killed 30 drones, which sounds like a lot, but we're 9 minutes into the game, and Stephano has been going hard on the drone count, hard on the economy, as he fires up another 8 in order to help saturate his bases. Building more spores, spine crawlers. He's about to have his 2-2 done, or at least his +2 armor first. And so Stephano, I think, is actually in quite a decent spot this game. He's got Hydras, which are now going to try and shoo away this battle cruiser. The Queen's going to help out too. That BC narrowly escapes. The factory as well is going to be under fire, or the barracks is going to be under fire, so no more factories for Lillekanin. That might be something he'll regret if he ever wanted to go up to like 7-8 factories, which sometimes Terrans do. And we actually do see a barrack start rebuilding. Lillekanin's like, oh, I shouldn't have let that die in case I need extra factories. So a bit of a mistake there. All the while, the battle cruiser just giving Stephano a bit of grief, but Stephano's macro is effectively unhindered this game. He's just spreading a casual 16 creep tumors. He's got his 5th base done. He's mining heavily on 4 bases right now. It looks like there's going to be a Hellbat drop with blue flame, which is pretty nice. Going to force the drones away for a time. Not able to chase them down though, and they will get cleaned up. Good response from Stephano. And if we do take a look now, Stephano, he's getting up that seismic spines, getting up those 3/3 upgrades, Vipers as well, so potentially the Viper Lurker composition, which I don't mind against mech. This battle cruiser probably gonna need to teleport away, and it does. So the BCs of Lillekanin still doing work. Interestingly enough, he hasn't got Yamato cannon for them yet though, so he hasn't been going for big pickoffs or whatever. Okay, so this crazy macro game is gonna continue on. Another battlecruiser harassing for Lillekanin. So far, Stephano's defense is rock solid at this point though. I mean, he's just got so many units sitting on his side of the map. He's not having any problem holding it off. If we take a look, there's now a Viper on the way. An extra Viper on the way. That battlecruiser actually gets killed off. That's a bit of a mistake from Lillekanin. Gonna have to really respect those Vipers now. Otherwise, his BCs won't just be able to teleport away. So, gotta get that guy out of there, and he does. And now Lillekanin is also getting up to 4 bases, so his economy is pretty strong. He's floating a lot of minerals too, so I'd like to see him throw up a couple of extra CCs sooner rather than later. And he is actually going to be building another battlecruiser, so I'd like to see him get that Yamato cannon upgrade too. I mean, the amount he's been using as BCs, he could have got some real pickoffs that I think it would have been worth the investment. If you are going to go for 3 BCs, I think that Yamato cannon is definitely worthwhile because you can get those queen pickoffs. And the Yamato cannon is useful later into the game, as long as you keep your BCs alive. We take a look, there is indeed adaptive talons on the way for Stephano. So his lurkers are getting all the upgrades. This extra BC was building, but it shall not complete due to these Hydras picking off that starport. If Lillekanin wants any more BCs, he's going to have to throw up some more starports, and he's going to do just that, while also making Vikings. So quite an interesting composition from Lillekanin, showing a lot of confidence into his mech, and we'll see if that confidence is justified the later this game goes on against Stephano. Because late game TvZ is still kind of up in the air as to who wants to go into the late game. Of course, Terran can play into the late game if you're harassing the Zerg economy constantly. However, Lillekanin, for the most part, has just let Stephano sit back and macro up. And as a result, it's going to be all about that late-game Terran versus late-game Zerg army clash that's going to happen. And so we'll see if Lillekanin is going to be able to stop Stephano. But, I mean, the Zerg player, he's got Vipers, he's got Lurkers. There's a chance he'll just throw down some Blinding Clouds, then run the Lurkers in, or use his mass Hydras to attack a base. For now, though, we do see Lillekanin trying some Hellion harassment. Not really worth it, though. BCs, I think 1 or 2 actually just died in the top left-hand side of the map. Maybe caught by those Hydras or Vipers. Bit of a mistake there from Lillekanin. And I would like to see the Terran player start looking towards a 5th base soon. So he's going to want to clean up that Overlord at this location. He's got this CC floating over. Extra CCs finishing on up. He's also throwing up a ton of turrets, which I like too. Turrets aren't necessarily going to get a lot of kills or be super effective against some units. Outside the zoning, like, it's harder for a Zerg to commit into an attack when there's turrets, which will pick off a Viper or 2. Things like that. We do see the Zerg player is starting to move forward, though. Lillekanin chart are going to have to deal with a ton of changelings running towards his base. Tank's going to shoot those away. We see one of the first abducts happen in this battle. A Viking does actually survive the abduct, though, which is quite nice. And there's the 5th base floating over for Lillekanin. But if we take a look, there's a lot of Hydras moving in, and these are some very vulnerable air units, which Stephano could potentially pick off. So Thor's SCV is going to be moving down, helping secure this base. And the Terran player is just kind of getting boxed in right now. Look at this map. Look at how much creep Stephano has. He's got so many bases already. He's probably just going to be looking for any base that he can take, any abduct that he can get off, and just whittle down Lillekanin in this game. And we'll see if the Terran player is able to do anything about that. What's his plan? Is Lillekanin's plan literally just to sit back, try and trade efficiently against the Zerg? Or is he trying to go for some composition which Stephano will lose to? I'm honestly not sure. For now, though, when we're looking at efficiency, it's definitely not going the way of Lillekanin, as he's already having Thors and other units abducted, which are very, very pricey. Pulling up that resources lost tab, as we see, checking out the actual numbers there. about 6,500 minerals to about 4.8k minerals. Gas bank Lillekanen's behind in that too. And that means that he's either going to have to take more bases, considerably so. He's either going to have to take a game-ending fight and win the game, or he's going to have to start trading a lot more efficiently. None of those things seem to be easy for him to do at this point in the game, and so we'll just have to sit back and see how's it going to play out for him. Is the Terran player just waiting so he'll be able to have as many upgrades as he can? Is he just trying to get up the full ship weapons, the full plating, all that jazz? For now though, Lillekanin, he has secured up this extraplanetary fortress. He's going to need to bolster up his army, transfer some SCVs towards these new bases, maybe even kill some SCVs as a matter of fact, as if we take a look, the Terran player is on 83 SCVs to the 74 of Stephano, so Stephano will actually have more army supply than the Terran player. Stephano's throwing up a ton of Evo chambers on the front lines so the Vipers can get their energy, start going for lots of abducts, things like that. These tanks are getting some pretty big shots on the Zerg force. However, with a couple of abducts, the tanks are gone. Now the Hydras can actually take out the turrets, and then the Vipers and Lurkers can move forward. Another abduct goes down, a Thor dies pretty much instantly to these +3 Hydras. This is looking really, really bad for Lillekanin. I mean, Stephano is just toying with his food right now. The Terran player isn't losing this game yet, but it is starting to look really, really sour the longer this goes on. I mean, the Zerg will just keep taking more and more efficient traits, picking off higher value units, or just more higher value units. How many Thors have died so far? 5 Thors have died this game, and what have we really seen a Thor do? Not much. It's just a cost of sitting back as the Terran in this situation. Lillekanin, I mean, he's got this 5th base up, he's still mining a lot, he's throwing up a ton of turrets and things to defend his locations, but I don't know if you can just sit back like this as the Terran, because Stephano will use the Vipers. He might even make infestors. He's very good with his spellcaster control. And then he's just going to happily keep mining out pretty much all the bases on the map. And then Lillekanin will eventually just run dry because he's trading less efficiently than his opponent. High-sec auto tracking's on the way. I like this if you are just sitting back like Lillekanin, but yeah, it's little things for Lillekanin that I'd like to see him doing better. He's got a ton of SCVs mining at his natural still. He's mined out in his main. He hasn't bothered to transfer them to his fresh base. I mean, little things like that. Yamato Cannon is finally on the way for the Terran player, but I'm still wondering, what's the Terran's game plan? He seems to be afraid to push out. Or is that because he's trying to build up a bigger army to push out with? But oh my gosh, look at Stephano's larva. He's got 103 larva right now, and he's got a 5k bank. If he decides to at some point, Stephano can remax on 50 Mutalisks like it's nothing. He might not even need that though. His composition seems to be pretty good against what the Terran has. We're seeing abducts go down, battle cruisers trying to teleport away to stay alive, but look at how efficient Stephano's abducts are. Oh my gosh, such value the Terran player is getting, or the Zerg player is getting, pardon me. This is not going well at all for Lillekanin, and I think we're seeing why Terran players generally just don't sit back against a Zerg and macro up. It doesn't work. Stephano knows how to play against a Terran who's turtling. He's using his Vipers well. He's getting good pickoffs. Resources lost-wise, he's ahead about 6,000 right now. And yeah, it's looking really good for him, and I expect it to go more of the same. We see Stephano just confidently moving forward, picking off tanks, picking off turrets. He has got enough Hydras at this location, which he might even kill off a command center, which is not cheap for Stephano to replace. The Hydras will actually kill off the CC. A tank gets sieged up to come and help out. The BCs are doing pretty good for Lillekanin, I'll say. However, the Queens are coming in to help out, and they will help out zone the BCs. And still, Stephano, I think, is pretty happy with this trade. He killed off a base. Lillekanin is broke for the most part, and so he's going to really have to transfer some SCVs. He's going to have to replace this location. But, I mean, Stephano can just keep trading like this, and he's going to win the game. This is not looking too good for the Terran unless he takes a very, very dominant fight. And we'll see if that's going to happen, but I don't have high hopes right now. Maybe if Lillekanin gets up to enough BCs, like, say, 20 BCs, and Stephano fights with Hydras into some tanks or something like that. There's the +3 ship weapons on the way for Lillekanin. That's something that I wanted to see. However, if we take a look right now, the Zerg player's moving on in with his Hydras. Eats a tank shot, though. That does make him turn around. Vipers, though, going to start getting off of ducks, BCs. getting picked off. Lots of Yamato does get dumped by Lillekanin, killing off some Hydras with Yamato, which I guess is just a trade he's willing to take at this point. The Terran player is starting to build up into this strong army, but I'm still concerned, even if he wipes Stephano's army with, say, mass BCs or something, the Zerg player can just make, like, 30 Corruptors or something and come kill all the battle cruisers. It'll be no sweat. Lillekanin, he's been trying to max out slowly. His supply is looking pretty good now, 124 to the 80 of Stephano, due to the worker difference, which has kind of bounced back a little bit, 62 for Lillekanin to 83 of Stephano. But still, take a look, the Zerg player, he's got this base up here. I mean, he's just mining this base happily. He can mine at this base. He's starting to build gases. He's got such a good economy. Whereas Lillekanin, he's pretty much mined out his natural. That's gone. His third's mining out. His fourth isn't even looking that good. And then he's got his fifth. So he's going to need a new base location sooner rather than later. Stephano decides to build 15 Corruptors. This is something that could pose a danger to the Zerg player, which would be middle of the roading it, not having enough anti-air in one form or another to deal with the BCs. Because right now, if we look, he's building 15 Corruptors, but there's 10 BCs. All it takes is 10 Yamatos, and the Corruptor counts down to 5, which BCs can easily win. With making more Lurkers, there's nothing really to counter the BCs in the form of Hydralisks. So there is a chance that Lillekanin will be able to take a good fight with his mass BCs. We'll see if it's going to work. I'm not too sure. These Thors have got to be careful as the BCs and Ravens move forward. There's one Yamato hitting a Lurker, which I guess is a decent pickoff. We're seeing in comes Lillekanin, though, or in comes Stephano. This may be time for the big fight. Parasitic Bomb gets dumped down. Lots of Yamatos being used, hitting the Zerg force hard. Anti-armor missile hitting the Corruptors, though, is going to make them very soft against the BCs. And so this is actually looking like a really, really dominant fight from the Terran player. A great fight for Lillekanin. However, as I said, Stephano, instead of making 30 Corruptors, he's making 26 and 2 Vipers. So while that was a really, really good fight for Lillekanin, it was not enough for him to win this game. We see Stephano moving spores right to the door of his opponent. The Zerg player is still dominating this game. Lillekanin has tried what he can. Tanks getting shots off. 3-3 is about to finish air upgrade-wise for Stephano too. I guess all the BCs of Lillekanin just need to be repaired. Then he needs to, say, take a good fight, dump some Yamatos, kill off a ton of Corruptors, do that a few times, rinse and repeat. All the while, he does need to be taking the space in the bottom right-hand side, as he will need a new location. Stephano with a very, very high Corruptor count. 38 Corruptors against 12 BCs. That will not be a close fight at all, whether there's Yamato cannon or not. So the Thors on the ground will be a big story. The 5 Thors helping out is actually going to be quite important. In comes the Zerg player now, starting to realize that Stephano wants to take this base, and he's going to want to say, no, 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 no. You don't get to take any more bases this game. Stephano, he's got a ton of Corruptors. Not really making too much. He's maxed out. He's rebuilding that bank. He's poking and prodding his opponent. Here's all the BCs out on the map. Yamato Cannon's going to start dumping into the Corruptors. Anti-armor missile gets used, which will really soften up the Corruptors against the BCs, along with the Yamato Cannons. However, if we take a look, the BCs are still being picked off. A lot of Corruptors and a lot of Lurkers died, but how did the dust settle after that? I mean, if we take a look, the BC counts down to 9. 22 Corruptors remain for Stephano. He can replace his no problem. He can replace his army easy as pie. And so if we take a look, we're even seeing Stephano looking to poke in with the Corruptors. He knows that picking off the BCs is fully worth it for him. We see a Yamato cannon go down. However, a BC also goes down for 1 or 2 Corruptors. Stephano is fine with that trade. We're seeing 22 more Corruptors be made for Stephano. His existing ones are being transfused a ton. There is 4 Thors on the way for Lillekanin, which I will say is going to do him a lot better than building any number of BCs, as Stephano is going up to 45 Corruptors, which is mental. I don't even know what you can really do as Lillekanin against this. Like, all it really takes is for Stephano to make a few Broodlords, and then he's got complete air control. And then, I don't know, maybe the Thors can do something on the ground. It's just all going to have to be about the Thors for Lillekanin. He is securing that base in the bottom right. We are seeing Stephano move in with his Corruptors, though. Is he just going to caustic spray this base down in a second? He very well could. The Corruptors are coming in. Are they going to take down the base? Is it just going to be like this? In a second, the base will just melt away, and there it goes, the mass caustic spray. The BCs are going to Yamato, then teleport out. Looks like some okay trades for the Terran. However, he did just lose his critical mining base. Battle, yeah, only one BC died there, and like 10 Corruptors did, so that wasn't too bad for Lillekanin. However, he's now got to float over another base, so that's going to take time. His economy is really starting to peter out, and Stephano is still just mining happily, sitting pretty. Lillekanin, I mean, he is going to be able to secure up this base. Stephano's making a few more Hydras, I assume for more Lurkers, as Lurkers are quite good against the slow Thors. But man, what a game we've had here today. I mean, I think the most exciting part so far has been watching Lillekanin, whether he's able to take good enough fights to justify how poor his economy has been this game. The last one was okay. I'm a little bit concerned now, though, as Stephano will have wisened up to all of these Thors. The Zerg player has got enough Corruptors to wipe the BCs. Then he just needs to be able to deal with what's on the ground, which is 9 Lurkers, which is plenty. They put out so much damage against Thors. The main thing, the Thors are so slow. Pathogen Glands is on the way for Stephano. I like this. He's also counterattacking at this location. Doesn't care if there's a turret shooting away at a few Corruptors. His Lurkers just moved in. Lillekanin loses one of his critical mining bases. The rest of his production could be very, very vulnerable. Lurkers can move in. They can potentially take out this base. I mean, the tank is doing what it can, but a ton of Lings are coming in. We're heading into a bit of a base trade scenario, but it looks like Lillekanin's production could be vulnerable first. SCVs are trying to repair this PF, but they will not be able to. The BCs are going to have to see what they can get done. I mean, this is actually looking okay for Lillekanin. If he hits Stephano hard enough, Stephano doesn't have the time to wisely remax. He can make units, yes, but he can't really think about what he's making right now, so he's just making some more Hydras, some more Corruptors, and we'll see how well this is going to work out for him. Lillekanin's got this one mining base in the bottom right-hand side. He decides to start making Vikings. I'm not sure how well this is going to work out for him, as Stephano is making another 13 Corruptors. So I'm not sure who's going to be able to win this fight. The Zerg player, losing most of his drones, has now just made a very, very large army, realizing how it's all just going to come down to this one big fight this game, and that's exactly what it's going to come down to. Stephano's army is kind of all over the place, running around. Lillekanin has wiped a few of the Zerg bases. Is he just going to go home, or is he going to keep this attack going? I'm not too sure. I really enjoy the Widow Mines that have been added in for Lillekanin. I think they'll definitely help him out a little bit. He's even making 5 SCVs at a time in order to remax and just mine hard off this one base that he's got. However, it looks like the big fight could be about to happen. The mines are going to need to burrow, but the Lurkers will run in very, very quickly against this force. I think the best decision, honestly, is going to be for the Yamato cannon to hit the Lurkers if possible for Lillekanin. Otherwise, I mean, the Thors will just die. Let's see, where's the Yamato cannon gonna go? Is it on the Lurkers, or is it on the Broodlord or the Corruptors? I think it looks like it was mainly on the Corruptors, and as a result, the Lurkers are getting a lot of damage done. However, if we do take a look, the BCs, what remains of them, teleport out. A few of the Thors escaped, and Stephano is up on supply, a vast amount. I mean, the Thors are remaining for Lillekanin. However, Stephano just has too much of an army. He was able to remax. That good economy is what carried him through this game. And look at that, the Corruptors just annihilate that planetary fortress like it's nothing. So Lillekanin is on virtually no economy. Stephano, he's got more Hydras. He's got just tons of Corruptors still. And he's got an okay-ish economy. I mean, he's kind of mining. And now, if we do actually take a look at how this played out, in the end, Lillekanin brought the cost efficiency back. Like, he lost less resources than Stephano has. However, Stephano did just mine a little bit too much for the Terran player to overcome with trading slightly better, and now it's actually worse. So if Lillekanin had been able to secure up an even number of bases this game and built up to this army, taken fights like this, he maybe could have won this game. However, right now it's looking very, very dire for the Terran player. We take a look, the Corruptor's just moving around. It's just a big old Zerg blob, I think, that's gonna end Lillekanin's time in this game. I mean, there's nothing to defend the production of the Terran. His remaining orbital commands will just be picked off. Yeah, I don't think the Terran can really do a lot about this. Is he just gonna try and counterattack? He's gonna look for some Cyclone lock-ons. However, that's a tall order to overcome 100 supply deficit. The Lurkers have done Stephano really, really well. The Corruptors being exactly what he needs. And as we see Lillekanin, I mean, he's got some Thors out on the map, but they're being surrounded. They're going to get killed off. The Lurkers will annihilate them. And as a result, there goes most of Lillekanin's army. It's 34 supply to 170. It's been a long-fought game, but Stephano, he wipes the mineral line of Lillekanin. There's nothing else that he can really make at this point. He's got no economy. He's doing Hellion run-bys, but I think he's just processing the loss at this point. The Zerg player just barely managed to keep it together amongst all the chaos. So really well played by Stephano. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this match, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Do so by pressing that subscribe button at the bottom. You can also join the Discord and consider becoming a member, which are both linked in the description. I'll see you next time. This has been LaughNgamez.